Jay Glazer of Fox Sports. Jay, are you focused on San Francisco, Jay?
It's on San Francisco. That's all I wanted to. Actually, I'm focused on Cincinnati. We're just talking about Cincinnati.
Okay.
Moving on to Cincinnati.
Well, we moved on to Cincinnati. Right. Well, the team that helped New England move on to Cincinnati is here in this building tonight against the Oakland Raiders. And we assume that they're going to help them also move the Raiders on to 0-11. What can you tell us as we currently sit here, Jay, about the Raiders coaching situation?
Look, obviously, you know that the situation going into the year, we already knew Dennis Allen had to do something in order for him to save his job. They're going to – Mark Davis wants to go big. We already know that, about John Gruden. Rumors last year, they offered him $10 million a year, and then he's going to try and do it again this year. And then, the guy that probably makes the most sense, the two guys out there are Shaw from Stanford and Jim Harbaugh. I mean, Jim Harbaugh makes all the sense in the world for them to go after. And I think it all depends on what, Jim and his family want to do, because he's going to have really the option of all options. He's going to have he's going to be the prime choice of a potential landing spot. But if his family wants to stay up there in Oakland and Mark Davis can make it worth it, that they got to open up everything they possibly can, because the guy, even though he wears you out after a couple of years, obviously he wins. He turns it around for people.
Jay, so you're still of the mindset report that you had right at the outset of the season that it doesn't matter what Jim Harbaugh does with the San Francisco 49ers this year. He is out the door by season's end. Yeah,
I mean, here's the thing. It wasn't, and I'm not saying that he's getting fired. Okay, that's not what it is. It's just a parting, and the reason why, it's not just on their end, but Jim is going to want, he's not going to go in next year as a lame duck head coach. He's not going to say, okay, let me just give you a discount and I'll do an extra year until we figure it out. No. He's going to want probably the highest contract in the history of sports. Pete Carroll is there now, I believe, at 9 and change or whatever, and there's no reason Jim is going to want anything less than that. I just don't think that they're going to be willing to kind of commit to that. And it's also, look, where Bill Parcells was masterful is, among other things, is he knew that all his little games and all his little, the way he kind of wore on people and got after people, they had a shelf life. They wore off after about 3 or 4 years. And that's why he knew it's time for me to move on. Once those things don't work anymore, it's time to go. And I think Harbaugh kind of has that same thing. I don't think he knows that, and he doesn't know how to use it to his advantage, where Bill Parcells did. So, yeah, that's – I will say this. After my report and Dion and everybody said their things, Jim is definitely softened. He's definitely – it's kind of helped them. It's helped him loosen up a little bit, and he understands a little bit more, but I believe it's run its course.
Fox Sports and Fox Sports Radio's Jay Glazer joining me here on the Rich Eisen Show. What about the two head coaching spots in New York? We know Rex Ryan is essentially somebody who's playing for his job, or he's already lost it. What about Tom Coughlin?
Tom, I think first of all, Tom's not the issue there. I think the way they've drafted and personnel has been the issue. You go back and you look at the drafts, for Jerry Reese. Man, you've got to do a much better job reloading talent there, and they haven't. You just can't survive like that. So I think when it's time for Tom, also when it's time for them to turn a page, I'd be surprised if they just fire Tom. I think you go to him and you give him the respect that he has certainly deserved, and said, Tom, how do you want to do this? And, can we it's time for you to step away or move on? But I don't think Tom's been the issue. They don't really have a ton of personnel to work with over there. They certainly didn't fit square pegs in square holes. So I don't think Tom has been the issue at all. Tom didn't all of a sudden, in a year or 2 years, just become a dumb coach. Doesn't happen like that. You don't just become all of a sudden, oh man, no, suddenly I don't know how to coach. Right? Doesn't happen like that. And, Tom is obviously one of the brighter coaches around, has been for years. As far as Rex, look, we know how emotional that city is, and unless he can do something to turn it around, I don't see him coming back. But I tell you what, I think he's actually done a great job considering his lack of personnel that they've had over there also. I would hire Rex in 2 seconds. I think early in Rex's career, he wanted to be this larger-than-life character and build up this. It wasn't just him coaching. It was also him being a character. And obviously he's kind of pulled off from that quite a bit. He's still an emotional guy, but he's pulled off from kind of, some of the crazier stuff and the stunts he's done. And guys, man, they play for him, and you know that. They play for him. And last year, all it took, and this is why also, he's a perfect example. And both these coaches are the perfect example why the hot seat is a crock of crap. The whole story of the hot seat. We start doing it in week 2 every year, right? And 20 cities every year. This guy's on a hot seat, that guy's on a hot seat, and 6 or 7 guys end up getting fired. So that's a 67% failure rate, which is awful as a reporter. Both years at the Giants, won the Super Bowl under Tom, he was fired, supposedly, that year. And Rex last year, there was no doubt he was fired, right? Until 2 weeks left in the season, he tells his team, hey, guys, I've gotten wind that I'm getting fired, and, they already are looking coaching search for, replace me. And all of a sudden, guys come out, bust their butts, they reveal it, he becomes a sympathetic figure, and he's back. But I know everybody in the world, week 1 we start talking coaching hot seat.
Yeah, I know. That's what we do in this business. Jay Glazer of Fox Sports Radio. In 2 minutes I have left with you, I want you to bust out the Glaze crystal ball, please. Okay. The Bills play when? When do the Bills play this week, do you think?
In the spring. in April.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know.
Do you think it's a Monday?
The only thing worse than predicting coaching carousels is predicting the weather.
That's right. So then what about Adrian Peterson? Crystal ball that one for me.
You know what, man? I personally think I think it's, look, we saw what happened with the league with Bountygate. They didn't care. They just kept it going, right? I don't see why this is going to be any different. They have their mindset on something. That is it. I personally, I would have given him a couple games to suspend his pay and move on with it. Just move on. The quicker we can kind of get over these stories and past them, the quicker we can just get back to talking football. And that's football. What are we? We're escapism. That's what we're supposed to be. That's it. Escapism from the real problems.
No, I know that. I know that. But if just flip it on, if the league had not done what it did, and you live in the court of public opinion, you see it. I mean, don't you think that the league would be lit up from all different ports of the American landscape?
They're getting lit up right now. I think they're getting lit up right now for it. And you know what's going to happen now? All we're going to hear about until April is when's he coming back and all this legal stuff and all the drama. And I get it. You want to prove a point in the message. And I just think in this case, okay, look, where it's what we know we have with the how it's been plead down and it's misdemeanor or whatever it is, and he's already missed time. I just think that it would just be better to kind of move on from this situation. And you hit him with whatever you hit him, but not an open-ended kind of suspension, because now that just continues the story until April, when instead of, again, Bountygate that season, instead of talking about just football, we're talking about Bountygate nonstop. And when do these guys come back? And what evidence do you have? And what evidence do you not have? And it distracts from the game.
Glaze, thanks for joining me. I look forward to you joining me every Thursday here on The Rich Eisen Show.
Absolutely. Love you. See you, buddy. See you, Ron.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern. On Audience.